So here we are, now in the fifth book of the 13 books of the Confessions, accompany Augustine on the journey of his life and comparing it to our life, your life, my life, how we're on the road together, as Augustine, accompanied by his dear mother from the very beginning, accompanied by friends in his wanderings and journeys, accompanied by God and his heart moving him to search. So this is the journey of faith, the journey seeking life, a journey of restlessness. This is who Augustine is. At this period of his life, he is living in Carthage and becomes quite discontent with his situation there. He hears about Rome and the possibilities of going there, more as an opportunity to leave the destruction which he's found, the maliciousness of the students, the wreckers who destroy, the students who are privileged and not taking advantage in the good sense of the studies. So Augustine doesn't feel appreciated. He is loved, and he has his concubine, the woman he's sharing his life with, and his mother has been living with him, as difficult as that is for her. But he thinks of the opportunity ahead, the possibility of freeing himself from the Manichees, to whom he has tied himself. He never fully converted to, but he was tempted by the teachings of the Manichaeans, and he was admired by them, and yet he did not find satisfaction. He was enamored of the possibility of starting again, of traveling to what had been the center of the empire, Rome, and because he was told that there the students are much more attentive and paid much brighter price. So he's encouraged, and he starts dreaming about that. And he realizes that it would be very hard for his mother to go with him, and it would be very hard for him to continue to live with his mother. Almost at the beginning, in the second chapter of this fifth book, Augustine spontaneously raises his mind and heart to God, and he says, "You who are everywhere, you who are not confined to any place, you alone are present to those who run away from you." And he's thinking of running away from his own mother. He's thinking of running away from the difficulties with the Manichaeans, with his students. And so this is his prayer. He says, "Let them turn back and seek you. For you do not forsake your creation as they have forsaken their Creator. Let them only turn back. See, there you are in their hearts." And Augustine once again referring to the heart, the center of his being, to discover God there, that restless heart, in the hearts of all those who confess to you, who fling themselves into your arms and weep against your breast after their difficult journey, while you so easily will wipe away their tears. This is the experience of Augustine, the desire to go home, not home to Gast, but home to where he feels loved, one with his Creator. At this they weep the more, yet even their laments are matter for joy, because you, Lord, are not some human being of flesh and blood, but the Lord who made them, and now make them anew and comfort them. So Augustine longing to be made anew, longing to be comforted, to find a home. And what of myself? Where was I as I sought you? You were straight ahead of me, but I had roamed away from myself and could not find even myself, let alone you. So this is Augustine. This is his moment, decisive moment, when he makes up his mind that he will travel with the woman who is sharing his life. They did not know him who is the way. Your word, through whom you made those very things, they are reckoning, together with themselves, who do the reckoning. These are the Manichees who he wants to leave behind. He wants to move on. Unhappy is anyone who knows it all, but does not know you, whereas one who knows you is blessed. Augustine, thinking back on that time, was able to say those words, the sentiments that were in his heart, as the possibility of moving on, of searching beyond, leaving his country, leaving Africa, going to the center of the empire, where he could shine bright, where he could receive what he deserved, he felt. He would be appreciated economically, he would be a star. So, all through that period, he says in chapter 10 of book 5, of about 9 years, during which I was spiritually adrift as a hero among the Manichees. Well, during that time, adrift, he longed to be able to have that sensation, to feel that he was on his way to a more permanent abode, where he would feel at home. You dealt with me in such a way that I was persuaded to move to Rome, to teach there instead what I had been teaching at Carthage. I did not want to go to Rome because my friends promised me that there I would command higher fees and enjoy greater prestige. These were arguments that were fairly convincing. But at Carthage, things are very different, he said. The unbridled licentiousness of the students is disgusting. Looking almost like madmen, they burst into recklessly and disrupt the discipline each master has established, commit many acts of violence, very forms of misconduct. So, in truth, he says, my hope and my inheritance in the country of the living, who for my soul's salvation prompted me to change my country. And to this end, you provided both the goads at Carthage that dislodged me from there, and the allurements of Rome that attracted me. Now, what do you think his mother, Monica, would she be in favor of this move, abandoning her home, her country? She did not have to look forward to what Augustine did because of her age and because she lacked profession. Naturally, she was opposed. This was difficult for her to accept, and yet she refused to go home to Tagaste. It was only with difficulty that he persuaded her to spend the night in a place very near the ship out of which he planned to travel. And so she did. She was in prayer in a chapel when he took off, and she realized the following day. And much of the rest of this book 5 is to recount the sincere prayer, the heartfelt tears of a mother who truly loved her son, who wanted to give birth to her son to new life in the Christian faith. She so desired for Augustine to know Christ as she did. So Augustine traveled, abandoning his mother, and in Rome he was fortunate enough to be received among the Manichees, who he really did not want to be among, and he fell ill. His first days, his first time there, he was ill, and it caused him to think seriously why he came. But then he recovered bodily health. Even while he was ill, the thought never came to his mind to ask for baptism, which he had when he was a child and he was ill, and it was denied him. So you restored me, he said in chapter 18 of book 5, you restored me from my sickness. You saved your handmaid son. And that was due, for Augustine's mind, to the prayer of Monica. She was praying for him regularly, morning and evening. She would go to the altar and pray with the community, the Christian community in Carthage. So Augustine was able to find a position to be a teacher in Rome. And it wasn't long before he found out that the students in Rome were not much better than the students in Carthage. At that point, a message had been sent from Milan to Rome Milan, which was now the new capital of the empire, the Roman Empire. The emperor was there, and the prefect of the city of Rome was asked to search for a master of rhetoric to be brought to Milan to teach. My real reason, he says, was to get away from the Manichees, though this was not apparent to them. So, he says these brief words in this chapter 23 of Book 5. So I came to Milan and to Bishop Ambrose. The story had been leading up to this. Augustine searching, Augustine looking in friendship, looking for guides, companions, and even though he did not know why, he ended up in Milan, thinking that he wanted more prestige, a more secure place in society, more recognition. He discovered, and was discovered by, Ambrose. This man of God, he says, welcomed me with fatherly kindness, and showed the charitable concern for my pilgrimage that befitted a bishop. I began to feel affection for him. So how Augustine's sincere openness to the welcome that he was given by Ambrose allowed his heart to soften, because he had no love for the Catholic Church, no love for the scriptures which they professed. With professional interest, he says, I listened to Ambrose's preaching, conducting disputes before the people, but my intention was not the right one. I was assessing his eloquence. I hung keenly upon his words, but cared little for their content. Little did he know that that content was entering drop by drop into his heart. So escaping Manichaeism, escaping the violence of the students in Carthage, repeated again in Rome, he comes to Milan as received by the holy man, by Ambrose. At his words, he says, which I enjoyed, they penetrated my mind, the substance which I overlooked. It seeped in with them, for I could not separate the two. At that, Augustine resolved, as Book 5 ends, to live as a catechumen in the Catholic Church, which was what my parents had wished for me, until some kind of certainty dawned by which I might direct my steps aright. So Augustine, in Book 5, who began the journey from Carthage to Rome, from Rome to Milan, is really on a journey inside himself, within himself, to discover God, to discover the Christian community, discover the way for living true happiness. This is what Augustine shares with us in Book 5, and I hope that you can appreciate his enthusiasm, his sincerity, his search, and I hope it relates some way to your search, your journey, that you too can discover God in your life and God present in the community of love which surrounds you.